The hidden truth about how cities were built without modern machines. What if everything you rely on today suddenly disappeared? No machines, no electricity, no powered tools, nothing except your own body and the people around you. Now imagine being told to build an entire city like that. It sounds impossible, almost unrealistic. But for thousands of years, this wasn't imagination, it was reality. Humans built massive cities, carved stones, created roads, and raised structures so durable that many still stand today. And the deeper you look into how they did it, the more one question begins to grow. How was this even possible? And what did it truly cost? Now let's uncover the first truth. Cities were built on pure human strength. Building a city without machines meant one thing: every single task depended on physical effort. Massive stones weighing several tons had to be moved using nothing but ropes, wooden sledges, and human coordination. Archaeological evidence from ancient Egypt shows workers pulling stones in synchronized groups, sometimes pouring water over sand to reduce friction and make movement easier. This wasn't random labor. It was controlled, rhythmic, and precise. Hundreds of people had to move as one, because even a small mistake could lead to injuries or loss of the material itself. What looks like impossible strength today was, back then, a combination of endurance, teamwork, and a deep understanding of basic physics? Now, let's reveal the second secret: precision without technology. What makes ancient cities truly unbelievable isn't just their size, it's their accuracy. Stones were cut and placed so precisely that even today, in some structures, you can't fit a thin blade between them. Builders achieved this level of perfection using simple tools like plumb lines, measuring rods, and water levels. In Roman engineering, roads were constructed in multiple layers with proper drainage systems, allowing them to survive for thousands of years. This level of detail shows that ancient builders didn't rely on guesswork. They had a strong understanding of geometry and measurement. Without digital tools or machines, they created results that still challenge modern engineering standards. Now let's expose the real system. Organization was the true machine. While physical strength played a role, the real force behind ancient construction was organization. Large-scale projects required thousands of workers, and without a structured system, everything would collapse into chaos. Historical records from ancient Rome show clearly defined roles: stonecutters, transport workers, engineers, planners, all working in coordination. Supplies like food and water had to be managed daily, and timing was critical to ensure continuous progress. This level of planning reflects a system as complex as modern project management. In reality, these cities were not built by strength alone, but by highly organized human systems working with precision. Now, let's uncover the truth about tools. Simple, but highly effective. Ancient builders didn't have advanced machinery, but they made the most of the tools they had. Early tools made from stone, bronze, and later iron were used to cut, shape, and assemble materials with surprising accuracy. Chisels and hammers allowed workers to carve detailed stone surfaces, while wooden scaffolding enabled them to build vertically. One of the most remarkable innovations was Roman concrete, created using volcanic ash, which allowed structures to remain strong even after thousands of years. These tools may seem basic by modern standards, but when combined with skill and experience, they became incredibly powerful. Now, let's reveal the reality. Time was the real price. Ancient cities were not built quickly, they were built over generations. Some structures took decades, while others took more than a century to complete. Workers often spent their entire lives contributing to projects they would never see finished. Medieval cathedrals, for example, were constructed over such long periods that multiple generations of builders worked on them continuously. This long-term commitment shows a completely different mindset, one where the goal wasn't immediate results, but lasting impact. Time wasn't just a factor, it was the foundation of the entire process. Now, let's face the truth. The human cost was high. Behind every structure lies a hidden cost that is rarely discussed. Construction in ancient times was dangerous. physically exhausting and often life-threatening. Workers dealt with heavy lifting, unstable materials, and long working hours under harsh conditions. Injuries and deaths were not uncommon. In many empires, forced labor or slaves were used to complete massive projects, adding another layer of human suffering to these achievements. While we admire these cities today, it's important to recognize that they were built not only with effort, but with real sacrifice. Now, let's uncover the mystery: why are these structures still standing? One of the most fascinating aspects of ancient cities is their durability. Many structures have survived natural disasters, weather, and time itself. This is because builders focused on strength and longevity rather than speed. Thick walls, deep foundations, and carefully selected materials ensured that these buildings could withstand extreme conditions. Unlike many modern constructions that prioritize efficiency, ancient builders aimed for permanence. Their work wasn't temporary, it was meant to last, and in many cases, it did. Now, let's uncover a hidden technique moving materials across long distances. Many ancient cities were built using materials sourced from far away, sometimes miles from the construction site. Without vehicles, transporting these heavy materials required creative solutions. Builders used wooden rollers, sledges, and natural pathways like rivers to move stones efficiently. In areas without water routes, large groups of workers manually dragged materials across land. This process was slow and required extreme coordination, as a single mistake could damage the material or cause delays. Moving resources wasn't just difficult, it was one of the biggest challenges in ancient construction. Now, let's reveal something surprising: building without detailed blueprints. Unlike modern construction, which relies heavily on detailed plans and digital designs, many ancient projects were built using knowledge passed down through experience. Master builders guided projects using memory, skill, and practical understanding of geometry. Layouts were often marked directly on the ground using ropes and stakes. This meant that decisions were made in real time and adjustments were handled on site. Without written plans or backups, precision depended entirely on human judgment and expertise. Now, let's reveal the final truth: knowledge was the greatest tool. At the center of all these achievements was one powerful element: knowledge. Ancient builders understood their environment, from soil conditions to water flow and structural stability. Roman engineers, for example, designed aqueducts with precise gradients, allowing water to flow across long distances without pumps or electricity. This level of understanding shows that their success wasn't based on tools alone, but on deep observation and learning. In the end, it wasn't strength or materials that made these cities possible, it was the human mind. Today, machines do most of the work. Construction is faster, easier, and more efficient. But thousands of years ago, humans built entire cities using nothing but skill, effort, and determination. No shortcuts, no advanced tools, just patience and knowledge. And somehow, their work continues to stand the test of time. So the next time you see an ancient structure, don't just admire it, think about what it truly took to build it. If you found this interesting, don't forget to like, share, and follow for more real stories that reveal the hidden side of history.